Are you ready to quilt blocks with QCT? Let's first learn how to place and stitch blocks very easily using QCT 6 Plus. From the home screen, you will tap on Select and Sew, and then set your safe area. Next, choose a pattern from the huge library of block designs. I've decided to stitch Heart Clover. Select the design and open it, and now we will place it on our quilt. My favorite placement method for quilt blocks is 4 points with stretch selected. Use the arrow buttons to dial up to 4 points so you have 4 gray nodes on the screen around the block design. Next, roll the machine and align the needle or the edges of the foot with the upper left corner of the block. Go back to your tablet and tap the upper left node to turn it green. Roll your machine down to the lower right corner of the block. For me, I'm lining up the edges of my ruler foot with the quilted outline of this block. Then go back to the tablet and tap the lower right node to turn it green. Notice how this shrank the quilting design to correspond with the small quilt block we are quilting here. We are going to repeat this 2 more times, rolling the machine to the left and aligning it with the lower left corner. Tap the lower left node on the screen. Then finish up with the upper right corner of the block. Tap the last node and your quilt block is placed. So this is how you will place and quilt blocks using QCT 6 Plus. You do have lots of additional options for playing with the block design and placement, such as shrinking the design by adding a margin and rotating the design too. When you're happy with the quilt design appearance, just tap Quilt and you're ready to stitch it. Once the screen changes, make sure to tap Pull Bobbin so you will pull your bobbin thread up to the quilt top so it doesn't make a mess on your quilt. Placing and quilting blocks like this is a great way to add custom quilting to your quilts and create a beautiful quilting design. But what if you have lots and lots and lots of blocks to place? Placing and stitching each one at a time could get pretty time-consuming. So now let's take what we just learned in QCT 6 Plus, placing one block at a time, and let's use multi-pattern placement. This is a QCT 6 Gold Card feature. We're going to use Select and Sew. I've already set my safe area, and what we can do is we can select our design and we can place it multiple times precisely on the quilt. So down here there's a little checkbox, multi-pattern placement. It gives you a little instruction on how to do this, but I'm going to show you how to do it step by step. Basically the same set of steps we've just done. We're going to place those nodes corresponding with where it's going to go on our quilt, but in between each pattern that we place, we're going to hit a button down here, Pattern. Now I am using a glide foot here, and I'm going to hit the Jog Forward button on my machine to the point where my needle is almost about to drop down. That allows me to see precise placement of my needle for QCT 6. When I'm sure I'm in the right location, I'm going to go on my screen and tap that node. Now I'm going to roll over and line up with that lower right hand corner, making sure that I'm lined up exactly, because in this case I am filling this design into this space completely, and I'm not going to add a margin or a buffer. For this design, you can see I shrunk it to have a little margin and fit inside the block. I think that looked really nice for that particular design, but this one I want those points to come right out to the points of the block, to the corners of the block. And in order to do that, I need really precise placement. This glide foot is really making a difference with this. All right, so I roll over, and here's the last one you can see, and these are really tiny. This is like placing this and stitching it into a 2-inch block. It's a very, very tiny design. You can see how much it shrunk here on my screen, but it is going to stitch precisely. I love how accurate this is. Now down here in the lower corner of the screen, we're going to hit Pattern, and then it will ask, do you want to place this pattern again? We're going to say yes, because we're going to put this into each of the 4 corners of this block. So I can place this multiple times, same set of steps. And as I roll around and pause on each of these corners, I'm tapping a node on my screen to correspond with that location on my quilt. This is what tells it to shrink the design into that space. Again, after getting all of the nodes in green, I'm happy with that. We're gonna hit pattern again. It's gonna ask, do you wanna place it again? I'm gonna say yes again. There we go. We've got all of them placed, ready to stitch out, and we could place even more. We could place blocks in the center and all around. As long as it fits within the safe area that we have to quilt in, we can place as many blocks as we want in sequence using multi-pattern placement. So I'm gonna make sure that that one's placed with pattern. Do I wanna place that one again? Nope. I wanna hit quilt. So now this will load in and show us the order that it's gonna stitch in. Now, if you want to, you can try optimizing, but you'll find that it's going to stitch between these, and that's not what we want. Now, if you had absolutely precision placement and that was gonna line up with a ditch on your quilt, then maybe you might wanna actually try that. But I find that it's better to just go on ahead and have the thread breaks between each block. So I'm gonna hit cancel, I'm gonna allow the thread breaks, and I'm gonna hit pull bobbin. In between each one, I'm gonna break thread, pulling my bobbin between them, and it's gonna stitch out one by one. We're gonna hit pull bobbin right here. We've stitched out the second design. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna move the machine over. You're gonna wanna tug on your top thread a little bit just to spool it out, give it a little bit of slack, and hang on to it. Now I hit continue, and it's gonna move back and do a single stitch. So here it's gonna move back, it's gonna single stitch, and then it will move away again, so that way I can cut my thread tails. After you're finished stitching the design, hit move to next to move to the next position, and then you're going to tap pull bobbin again to start the next design. So that is how you're going to place all of the blocks and then stitch them in sequence using multi-pattern placement.